Thank you for listening to Two Girls, One Plant.
We're your hosts, Madison
and Jillian, and this week we're talking with Jessica from Green Lady Gardens.
Jessica's here!
I'm here!
Yay! Hi, Jessica!
Yay!
Welcome! Thanks for coming to Two Girls, One Plant.
Of course.
So happy to have you here.
Yeah.
You are our last kind of celebration of wrapping up the month for Women's Appreciation Month. So we really appreciate you taking the time to be here. We're celebrating women in business, women in the plant community. So we really appreciate your time being here.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Green Lady Gardens is one of our favorite shops. I think we've mentioned it quite a few times in the podcast.
Yes,
so
a bunch of times.
We're pretty excited to talk about it and delve
I know I'm a
deeper.
pain in the ass sometimes too, so thanks.
No, never.
Not at
That's
all.
what we love about you.
You make sure each person that walks out has the right plant for them. And
That's
it's
right.
unique. So
Yeah.
we definitely want to talk more about how you came up with that system and what Green Lady Gardens, means to you and means to the community in Denver. We're super excited.
Yeah.
So let's start with a little bit about you. Tell us about Jessica.
Who is Jessica?
I mean, what do you want to know?
So what did you do before Green Lady Gardens?
Looked for jobs.
Okay.
I have a really long kind of background. I'm not going to totally get into the whole thing, but essentially when I got out of grad school and moved to Denver, I couldn't find a job. So I started Green Lady Gardens doing like art, floriculture art, and art markets and that kind of whole gig.
Yeah.
And after doing that for a couple years, my husband lost his job, so I had to get a job.
Right.
And it was terrible.
Yeah.
It was just like this terrible admin position. And at that time, I kind of started getting on Instagram. So I have only really been active on Instagram for like 2 years, maybe.
Yeah.
And I also didn't want to lose sight of my business, Green Lady Gardens. So I just started like slinging plants at farmers markets on the weekends.
So you incorporated that into the art that you were doing.
Well, I did originally, but then I didn't have time to make art when I had a full-time job.
Right.
So I
That
just
makes sense.
sold plants at farmers markets.
Yeah.
And I had little cards with my color-coded system on it.
Yes.
With their difficulty level, and it blew people's minds. And I was like, what? I don't understand. Oh, do people like houseplants? Like, I had no idea until I started selling at farmers markets.
Yeah.
And then I, kind of got active on Instagram, and I looked at plant stores, and I felt like they all kind of lacked character.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, if I were to do it, this is what I would do. It'd be colorful, blah, blah, blah. And that's all it was. I was never going to open a store.
It's an idea.
It was just an idea. And then I drove down Santa Fe on the way to my shitty job, and there was a for lease sign. And a week later, I signed a lease. I quit my job. I opened 0% APR credit cards and started my store. And that was it.
That's crazy. It just felt right. It was just the right space, the
Well,
right
I was
time.
just like, yeah, I mean, and my Latin theme, where the hell else was I going to have Cherry Creek? Where was I going to have it?
No, it fits so well into the Santa
it was
Fe
just
district.
it was just perfect.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
there you go. That's where I'm at.
That's cool. Were you interested? Obviously, I'm sure you had houseplants before that.
Yeah.
Did you always have plants even
Yes.
growing up? So you've always been interested.
Yeah. So I am 37. So even 20 years ago, I was giving houseplants to friends in high school.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
everyone, I thought it was awesome, but everyone's like, what the hell do I do with this?
Yeah.
They wanted the Victoria's Secret body spray and the loofah, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Just weird shit. And I always had plants. I gave them to people. I had them in college. And so I always judged people instantly if they didn't have plants. There was a lot of judging.
I feel that way about books. If I walk into your house and I don't see any books, I'm like,
You're like, I don't know about you.
Yeah, I totally get that. There's no plants.
Yeah. So I'd always been into plants. And then when I saw that people were now, I was like, holy shit, it's my time. My time has come.
I
No
agree with
kidding.
that. I agree with that. I feel like when you started was prime time, perfect timing, perfect storm of it just kind of more so exploding than I feel like it has in a long time.
Yeah.
Since the 70s, I want to say more so than anything.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
So that's awesome. That's
I
so
wish
awesome.
I would have been on Instagram like 5 years ago. Like I would have opened a store then. I would have been like, oh shit.
Only, right? If you knew
If
it was your
only.
calling 5 years ago.
Before I got the job I hated,
Right,
you know?
Right. Oh my
But
gosh.
you finally followed your gut. It's amazing that you took that
Yeah.
risk, you know?
Yeah, I was like, fuck it. Like, what was the worst that was going to happen?
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah,
I, like,
you keep
don't-
working a shitty job you don't like.
Yeah.
Like, you might as well do something you
Right.
love.
Yeah.
Right.
So
you started
That's
2
nice.
years ago.
So a year and a half I opened my store.
Was it in? It was in December 2018.
September.
September 2018.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. What year is it? Yeah.
Yeah. What year is it?
Like what year? Yeah, September. Yeah, 9/15 of 18.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
So you're kind of coming up on your 2-year.
Yeah. Year and a half. Yeah, it'll happen fast.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. How crazy is that? Like,
It's
does it feel
exciting.
like it's been like a lifetime since you've been open? Is that
I
like
mean-
what you experienced before Green Lady Gardens? Does that feel like a whole other lifetime to you?
Yeah, mostly because I just don't ever know what day it is. So it's just like a blur. Like the last year and a half of my life has just been Green Lady Gardens. Like
Totally.
I've sacrificed a lot. Like friendships, relationships, just a lot has gone into it. So yeah, that's actually a really interesting question. I've never thought back. Yeah, it feels like a totally different life because I had a different educational and career path set for myself and it was not this. But I don't know. That's life.
Yeah.
Doing things is cool, so I'm like doing this for now. Like I might not be doing it in a few years. Who knows?
Absolutely. And that's
see.
really cool that you are on to be like flexible in your life. I think it's like for us, we feel like we get so bogged down, like this is my career and this is what I have to do till I'm 65 and retire and die. Like we don't have to do that. We can try so many ventures and avenues in our life. So I find that really awesome that you're like, well, if this doesn't work out or like if it's good enough and I can walk away and try something new, like I think that's really admirable. So
Yeah, it is. It's admirable to follow your intuition and see what works for you and what makes you happy.
I feel like that like being on Women's Month, I feel like that's a trait that a lot of women have though. Is like that flexibility and ability to adapt.
Absolutely.
Like we kind of have to.
Yeah.
Like to survive.
Absolutely.
Women, you have to do that. I mean, you just mothers, you have kids, like you just got to like pick up shit and go with the flow.
Absolutely. I
So-
100% agree. How long have you been in Denver?
4 years.
4 years? Where did you
Yeah,
live
4.
before?
I lived in a lot. Well, I did undergrad in Boulder
Oh wow. Okay.
like 15 years ago.
Wow. Okay.
And then I moved to like DC and I was in Missoula for grad school and then back to Denver.
Oh my gosh.
And I've just lived a lot of places.
Yeah. So you're just kind of all over. Cool.
Kind of all over.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you like Denver? Love Denver?
I don't know because I run my business. Like someone tell me, is Denver cool? Like I don't know.
You're constantly in the shop.
People are like, oh, you haven't been to that restaurant? I'm like, first of all, there's thousands of restaurants.
me.
Second of all, no.
That's me.
Like,
I go in all the time. I'm like, I did this today.
I'm
And
like-
she's like, what are you doing today? I'm like, this and this. And I'm like, you should do it. And she's like,
bitch,
I
like
can't.
I ain't got time.
Yeah, that's you.
We gotta make sure you go out and enjoy yourself.
You know,
Yes.
I'm hired someone. She's gonna be trained. I'll be able to take days off. I
Good.
can do stuff like.
Which
Yeah.
is super exciting.
It is.
Yeah.
So, okay, before we get into Green Lady Gardens
Yeah.
and the growth over the past year and the future, let's go back to our basic questions that we like to ask everybody that always comes on the show.
Yes.
So, how many plants do you have?
In your house. And this can be like collective crops. It doesn't have to be. I know.
So I get this
General.
question a lot in my
Yes.
store.
Yes.
It's not how many I have, it's how many I had before I opened my store. So
Okay.
I mean, it's both. It's a sad story. The plants in the store look fantastic, which shows you where all my effort goes. But
Yeah.
before I opened, I probably had like 100.
Okay.
I last night was counting, but I smoked and then I kept forgetting how many. So
Yes.
it's somewhere around like 40 or 50 now.
Yeah.
That's probably about where I am.
that-
Good high
Yeah.
guesstimate.
Like
you know,
it's kind
around
of,
40,
I have like
50.
big ones, I have little ones. most of them kind of look like shit because they're plants from like farmer's market that fell and broke and now they're in terrible light, but they're just hanging out. And like, I don't care. Like, I don't want to water. I watched a pothos die over 4 months. I just let it die. Every day I was like, peace. Like, I don't care about you because I am at my store watering.
Yeah.
I don't want to go home. So everything's in water.
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly.
That makes so much
water.
sense.
I love keeping plants in water.
It's so easy. Just like.
No, like you have like literally no time. If you're spending, you know, all hours of the day at your shop and like, yes, that's something you should totally care about. And like, that's, you know, your livelihood.
Yeah.
Is that have really awesome plants for people to buy.
Yeah.
That's how you pay the bills.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that you're putting all that time and then you don't want to come and you're like, okay, motherfucking pothos, peace the fuck out.
Yeah, like I threw a spider plant out in the yard. I was like,
you told
fuck
me about
it.
that. You told me, you're like, I'm over you. And you just needed that.
It was just this like in a huge pot. Like nobody wants a spider plant in a 10-inch pot. Nobody. And I just like hucked it out into the snow and was like, peace.
Sink or swim.
Yeah, I mean, it's the plants in the store that matter, and I'm honestly there more often than I'm at home anyway.
Yeah.
So just, you know, plants aren't really a hobby for me anymore like they used to be.
Yeah.
So it's interesting when people come in and they're like, oh my God, I want a plant store, yada, and they're like exploding. I'm like, it changes shit. Like you're not, I don't have party bath time anymore with the plants, and I don't have like Sunday morning trimming. I'm like, you dead? Nope. Cool. See you next weekend.
See you next week for our meetup.
Yeah, your relationship with them changed.
Yeah, it totally did.
Absolutely.
It totally did, which is fine
That's
because I love where I'm at with them right now.
It's
in my
cool,
store.
and you keep you have all of these beautiful plants at the store, including things like your calathea sitting back there. That's like a personal plant.
Yes, it was a gift from a customer.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you do have some personal plants even that are at the store.
Yeah, I
that,
take care of those. Yeah, I'm there more. I can talk to them there.
Those count.
Those count.
Yeah.
So of those, what's your favorite plant? And I know it's a hard question.
It's not hard.
Okay.
Jade bonsai. Like those big tree ones.
Oh my God, I saw so many of those today.
I love them.
Oh my God.
Where were you today?
I went to Nick's today.
Okay.
She basically lives at Nick's.
I go
it's
like
next to her house.
It's by my house. It's
Yeah.
like 2 minutes away, so it's like easy to just go.
I need to make it out there.
They had a huge one that was like flowering all over it.
Wow.
And
You have those for the rest of your life. I tell people when they're looking at it because they're expensive.
They
because
are.
they're old, but they're a plant you'll have for the rest of your life. And I have 3 giant bonsai ones, and I adore them. They're amazing.
Yeah.
And soon it'll be warm enough where I can just keep them outside for the summer, and they'll get all big and pretty.
Yeah.
And then in the winter, I put them in the house behind doors because I don't have space for them. And they're totally okay.
Everything kind of suffers through the winter in Colorado and
Yeah.
then goes back outside of the
But
beautiful
the jade are
sunshine.
fine, and they just like chill. They still grow.
Yeah.
Literally
100%.
behind doors.
That's so funny.
I have a tiny baby jade actually that was my step into bonsai because I was like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do something I can handle.
Yeah.
And jades are awesome. You can
They're
chop them
amazing.
up and trim them and do whatever and make them look super cool.
Yeah. So those are my favorite.
I love that.
What is your most, and this is subjective, so
Yeah.
what is your most rare plant that you own or have owned?
So
So that could be environmentally rare or that could be commercially rare. However you perceive it.
it's hard. Well, it's hard because I sell a lot of rare plants.
Yes.
So I have a lot of them in my house, but they're not mine per se.
Okay.
Because one of the reasons I'm not really, there's a few reasons I'm not doing that anymore, and one of them is just because of the care behind them.
Totally.
And I was like, what the fuck? I'm letting that pothos die. Like, why am I taking care? I don't have time to take care of all of these anthuriums.
Yeah,
So
right.
That require extra care.
extra
and
care.
attention.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I would say, actually, my most rare is probably the Mosaica.
Yeah.
I would say that one.
Those are pretty.
I do have a tie
Okay.
from. It's got like the two tiny leaves. That's it. It's never grown another single leaf ever.
Really?
Ever. And it's one that when I was having my second tie constellation sale, I swapped mine out because this was like the runt that I got. And mine was bigger. And I was like, dude, I can't sell this one with these leaves as big as that like pilea there.
Aw.
Yeah.
So I sold mine. I traded it. And the one, it's
nice.
just like it's just like, what's that? I love it.
Just doing its thing, having some introspection.
That's so funny.
Maybe one
Just
day.
hanging out.
One day.
Maybe one day. We'll
That's
see.
hilarious.
But it's alive. That's what matters in my house. Yeah, so the Museica, I would say.
I love those.
People try to buy it, and I'm like, hands
Yeah,
off.
because that's like your little corner behind your register.
I got the booby cactus you gave me.
Yes, I gave her a
That's
booby
a good
cactus
one.
for your 1 year. I think I gave it to you.
Yeah, we did a plant swap, and you brought me, and then
Yes.
and then you were like, I have this for you, and then you came back and brought it for me.
Yeah, we had the plant swap. And I was like, I wanted to give that to you for your 1 year anniversary.
Yay, thanks.
So, yeah.
I love it.
It's so cute.
In the booby pot.
Yes, it's in a booby pot, which is
Very
awesome.
fitting.
Love it.
Madison makes them herself. They're adorable.
Yeah, I make some booby pots.
I think I've seen them.
Yes. They're not as cute as the ones that you sell, though. What is her name?
Michelle.
Yes.
She's less is more
Yes,
ceramics.
I follow her on Instagram.
Okay. Yeah.
She's so awesome.
Yeah, she
I
is.
love her Instagram page. So we want to talk about the shop.
Yes,
Let's
please.
talk
Okay.
about the shop. So what was it like in the beginning for your shop? As soon as you you driving down the street and you're like, ooh, for lease sign. Week later, you're open.
Actually, you know what?
Well, I signed a lease.
Actually take a step back because you said that when you were at the farmer's market selling art, it was Green Lady Gardens.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
how did we come to Green Lady Gardens? Where did that name come from and that idea? Because
Yes.
it sounds like you were using that for your art even before you were selling
Yes.
plants.
I think well, I mean, when you come up with a business name, it's not just like, this is what I want. I mean, there's a whole thing of going through it. One of them is the domain name available?
Right.
We did that research.
Yeah, you do that. And so, I don't know.
2 girls, 1 plant pot. Like, what's up?
Yeah, you just like go through it and you're like, oh, well, shit, I can't do that because that's not going to work. Or,
Right.
I don't know. It was just a bunch of iterations of names, and somehow I came up with that. I honestly don't even know.
Okay.
I really don't.
Yeah. I like the name though. It flows. It
Yeah.
flows off the tongue really
Yeah.
well. Green Lady Gardens. I don't know.
Green Lady Gardens.
Yeah.
Well, there's that green lady too. The that
The logo
What
for
is
your
it?
shop, essentially. Like
Well,
when
there's
you
like
first
that-
walk in.
pagan thing. Yeah. So the logo.
So cool.
So my husband, ex-husband, still my really good friend,
Yes.
made that. He said I was his most difficult client.
You should
And I was
be,
like, don't
though.
care.
Be picky.
Don't care.
Produces
I take
the
my
best
shirt off for
work.
you. Don't care.
That's awesome.
It's a really great logo, too. It really suits
Yeah.
the store.
Yeah.
Thanks.
100%.
I will make sure to pass that along to him.
Yeah, but I love your logo and just like the whole branding of everything that you do in your shop. So then let's go back to in the beginning. Again, you saw the sign, we're like, fuck it, let's do this, and opened. What? How? Why?
Well, so
You did
I
it?
signed the lease a week later. I didn't open for like 6.
Oh,
Because
wow.
like, I mean, do you know
Okay.
how much paint is in there? Like, there's like 8 colors in there, and the
Yeah.
floors had to be cleaned, like all sorts of stuff.
Okay.
But I don't know. I told you that before. I always felt, and I'm not trying to like talk shit about other plant stores, but the mentality I feel a lot of the time is let the plants do the speaking, which is great because they do. But I felt like so many plant stores, there was no character behind them of like the person who owns it. No personality.
Right.
Like I felt like it was like, oh, that's a plant store with white walls.
Like they didn't have a presence in the store.
Like an experience.
Right.
You know, it wasn't this special experience like, oh, this is a reflection of the person who owns it.
Got you.
It was just white walls and they all kind of look the
Right.
same. And
Right.
I really like color.
Yeah.
Like I'm obsessed.
I
Like
could not
Talavera, you can't tell at all. I know. Like the Mexican pottery is just like I'm obsessed with it. Like it's all over my
Yes.
house.
Yes.
And I don't know. I was like plants and colors. What could be better in life? So, I don't know. I signed the lease, went in there, we painted a bunch, and I just like put it all together. I don't know.
That's great though. It is like an experience when you walk in. It's so like there's such a feeling. It's such a cute boutique shop that it really is its own unique store in the community.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, so for those listening who haven't been to my store, it's a Latin inspired boutique. So there's like an orange wall, red wall, teal, there's Mexican pottery, there's Saltillo tiles. I'm in the Santa Fe Art District, which is kind of the de facto Hispanic heritage district. So it fits right in.
It does.
Yeah. And the community, I've gotten some shit from people who are like, you're cultural appropriation. And I'm like, no, I just like colors. And also I'm highly appreciated by the surrounding community, the Hispanic population. They're like, this is sweet. Like, there isn't something like this in this area. A lot of it's art galleries, and which they're great, but they're all owned by white people, you know, and there's a lot of celebration of Hispanic heritage in that area, but to have a shop that like these people come in and they know the music and they dance and they have stories to tell me about what the area's been like it's cool.
Yeah, it is really nice, and the plant community has grown so much over the years, so I'm sure you've gotten to see a little bit of that and so many new people getting into it and finding your shop, you know?
It's my favorites. Yeah.
What is your so like for I know for you've been, and I love that you are so heavily influenced in your shop with Latin American culture and items, and just like that feeling you get, like you have the music playing, you're talking to Alexa all day, Alexa play this, which I love. But I love that you're also like extremely supportive of DACA. You're very supportive. What was your not-for-profit called?
Yeah, so I have my my nonprofit. It's called Primary Plants.
Yes.
And it's to teach indoor gardening, mostly just like houseplants.
Yeah.
To elementary school children in Title I schools in the Denver metro area. And so I've actually only done one program because I don't have time. So I have my new employee. So I'm signing up to do more stuff, and I'm doing some collaboration with Museo de las Americas this summer.
Yay.
But
Exciting.
it's, teaching them about houseplants and using it as therapy, because horticultural therapy is a real thing.
It really is.
And I did one program with these kindergartners, and I mean, there's like a lot of trauma, but it's very therapeutic for them. It's like, you can talk to it. If you're having a rough day, you know, something to take care of, and
absolutely,
you know, just teaching how to care and love something, and it grows and it rewards you.
Yeah.
So
I didn't even know that you were a part of this nonprofit. Like, is there a way to get involved?
So it's mine.
That.
So it's mine.
Yeah, you started it.
Yeah, and so I'm setting up stuff, yes, like I said, with Museo de las Americas in Santa Fe Art District. So I'm doing stuff with them this summer. And then in the fall, I want to start up doing it more regularly. But running my business on my own and then doing that, it's a lot.
Yeah.
I only have like one day of the week that I can go. So it's just hard to coordinate.
Totally.
But
But hopefully more so this summer.
Yay!
And fall, that would be really awesome.
Yeah, because they came to me, and I'm going to do it for like a few weeks.
Good.
So I'm
That's
excited for that.
awesome. And people can support and help donate if they on your website.
Yeah.
Correct?
So you can, but what I do is when I did like the plant swap, so it's $5, so that goes to my nonprofit.
Yeah.
So whenever I charge for events like that, like for the rare plant sale, went to my nonprofit.
Yeah.
So that's how I kind of pull in the funding.
Cool. Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a
love
great
that.
way to use that.
Yes. Do you see yourself always being in the Santa Fe district, or did you want to possibly expand? Because your shop is so cute, but it's tiny.
I know.
She's
It's
small.
like busting.
It's like
I do want to expand. It's hard though because I really like my store.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
It has its like little niche where it's like cute and small, and like you're almost up to your eyes and like plants, which I kind of like that.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Like I just love being not even overwhelmed, but being like overly
Immersed.
welcomed and immersed
in
all the plants in this tiny space.
Yeah.
Like I like that about it. But I also feel like too, if you had a bigger space, you could do so much more.
I want like a designated workshop area. I want more big plants. But again, it's like, where would I go? You know,
where would you want to go?
I'd want to blow up the Wells Fargo next to me because I'm so tired of that damn ATM.
Oh my gosh, everybody, she does not have an ATM in her store. It is around the corner.
It is around the corner.
Own it. It's not a part of her shop. She has nothing to do with the ATM around the corner. She can't help you if it's broken.
Nope. I will not let you in. Like, call Wells Fargo. Not my fucking problem if you can't get in.
I have no relation to Wells Fargo.
No, I am not getting paid by them at all. So I'd love to have that space. Really and there is no bank. You cannot walk to the back of my store and find a bank. It is not there.
That's hilarious.
It's really funny and sad.
So then, what plants do you like to sell?
Do I like to sell?
Yeah, like what plants, like you, like let's say you go and you're picking out stuff, like what plants excite you to like sell? And you're like, oh my gosh, jade. Yes,
jade,
okay.
bonsai,
Yes.
and philodendron, because I think pothos are crap. I'm so tired of those plants. The green ones. I like the silvery, the pretty ones.
Yes.
But the green ones, I'm over it. They are not the best plant, everybody.
Yeah.
People want it for their first plant, and I'm like, no, the philodendrons, like just the hanging cordatum, the regular ones.
Yeah.
They can be so much drier. Yeah. They can tolerate so much more.
Totally. Yeah.
So.
Totally.
Yeah.
I love philodendron.
Get those
I know.
Yeah,
and you have such a great variety of philodendron in your shop.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I try.
And then so then what's like that process like, picking plants for your shop? Because it's kind of like luck of the draw. I feel like I'm sure you have your staples. Mm-hmm. But do you ever see something that you're like, if I like this, maybe I'll put this in my shop and see if other people like it. So what's that process kind of like?
Yeah, for sure. Well, it started out when I first opened, it was different. I had things and I realized, people don't buy them. Strawberry begonias, the cutest, the easiest.
Yeah.
Very different. People don't buy them.
No.
They're awesome though.
Yeah.
And I would have little 4-inch strawberry begonias and no one bought them. So I don't have them anymore, which is sad. But, so over time I kind of changed it into what I would carry. And now I go in and I'm like, well, that looks cool. And then I have to kind of think back to what people have asked for, what they want. Also what's healthy. So even if people want something, if I go in there and it's not healthy, like I'm not going to bring it into my store. Even if I know people are going to line up to buy it. Like, like I'm not going to do that.
Well, that puts your business like almost like in not necessarily jeopardy, but like if people buy like a sick plant, like I feel like, with Instagram and Facebook nowadays, they're like, I got this sick plant from this plant shop. Like it kind of like spreads really fast.
Yeah, no,
and,
it totally does.
And stuff I think slips through the cracks. Like I think when you go, like even when I go plant shopping, like I'll buy a sick plant and I get home and like a few weeks later I'm like, oh, you're sick, or oh, you have mealybugs, or
it's hard to tell. Yeah. So when I'm in the greenhouse, like I check everything.
Yeah,
and
that's good.
I know that if I pick up a jade plant and it's got mealy, I know that everything in that box has it. So I can't get those, which sucks sometimes because I'm like, shit, like I needed that plant.
Yeah.
So it's hard. Yeah. And stuff does slip. And like things like mealy and stuff, they just kind of like appear sometimes.
I know. No kidding.
You're like, where the fuck did you come from?
Absolutely. No, it's so annoying.
Okay, so you look at like what people have purchased and kind of what's popular and what's bringing people into the shop. But like, do you have like a favorite plant that you like to stock? Or it's interesting because I know you actually started with a lot of rare plants and you did the exotic plant sale, and you've mentioned that you're kind of going to start pulling away from that a little bit just for the sake of time and fragility with the plants that are coming in.
That and like what you said about the ZZ Ravens, some people be crazy.
Yeah, people be crazy.
Some people be crazy, and I'm just like, just tired.
Yeah,
tired of it. But I do have some stuff I will keep bringing in. So that's exciting.
Yeah. I don't know. I really want to ask this. So I'm just going to. About, I know you had issues with some of your rare plants that you got from Thailand, correct?
Yes.
Do you think that kind of affected you? Just being like, I'm fucking over this.
Yeah.
This was a huge loss for my business. And
100%.
It's like, it's a huge gamble and risk, and my heart just breaks for you that you had to like go through
the stress. Like I'm already a stressed out person. already stressed out.
Yeah.
So when my plants, thousands of dollars in plants didn't arrive.
Right. Imagine all of you that order plants online and you're stressed looking for the mailman for your box of like 3 plants. Okay, now like quadruple that, you know?
Like add zeros.
Right.
Like and a comma. Like to your purchase. Like add a comma and a couple zeros.
Yeah.
So that one, I mean, I lost a lot and it was really brutal.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy, bringing plants to people. And I know my prices were really kind of all over the place with certain things, but it's so hard. And then also just being like, well, I want to make money off this, but I lost money off this. And I honestly don't even really know how much money I've made off of it. It was kind of something I just really enjoyed doing, but then that stress, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like I can't. I just something has to give sometimes.
Yeah, and I think during that time when you were doing your rare plant raffles, and then you were having your little moments like with the Thai constellation, and like you had like, I don't even know how many you had, like 20 or so Thai constellations that you were selling that day.
I had 30, and I was supposed to have 70, but they got destroyed.
Yeah. I can relate to that.
You're like, I'm gonna barf.
Fuck you, green spaces. No, I'm just kidding. It's not their fault.
More like customs.
Yeah, it's more customs, more USDA. Fuck the USDA. Oh my god. But during that time, I loved looking forward to what you had in stock that week, what was going to be rare, because like a lot of this was on my wish list. And to go to a shop where I could depend on it being healthy and being looked after, because you didn't put them up for sale like as soon as you got them. You waited
I kept things.
A couple months.
Yeah, I always waited because I wanted to make sure things were stable, because if they weren't, it was like, oh well, I would have sold that to someone for $100.
Right.
So I always made sure things were stable.
And me being the impatient person that I am, I was like, Jessica, just fucking sell it to me. Just like, I don't give a fuck. I'm competent enough. I can do it. But also I was like, no, she has to be fair. Like, take a chill pill, Madison. She'll sell it when she sells it. And during that time, I think I got a Thai constellation and I won the variegated ZZ raffle,
right,
which was super exciting. I'm trying to think if I got anything else during that timeline of you doing the rare plant updates. I don't think I did. Did you get anything?
I mean, that's where my philodendron ring of fire came from, actually. Yeah, that's been rehabbing for a while. It's doing really, really, really well, actually.
Yes.
And I've gotten, like, a couple of smaller things. Like, I got, and this is, like, back in the day, so you can see where, like, my jobs have changed over time. But, like, I got my Raven ZZ and, like, my whale fin. So, like, a couple of things before, like, a lot of the raffles and things like that were coming up.
Totally.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like I said, I appreciate you doing it for that time, but I also
Thank you.
understand like why you want to kind of get out of that
and I still have a lot of stuff at home, so I'm like gonna kind of just bring things in.
I've noticed that you've
randomly
been rolling some stuff
I brought
out.
in the Australis,
I saw that you just posted
the Lisas, and I just have a bunch of other shit that I'll bring in. And then Tanya, Furry Foliage, shout out, she's making me a big vivarium, and I'm putting in a whole bunch of rare stuff. So I'll have my Clara Nervum. I don't even know how you say these things.
Dude, she's like busy.
She creates amazing vivariums, dude. And you should follow her on Instagram. Like, no joke. Shout out to Tanya. But like, I've met her a few times. Yes. She's like really kind.
She's so nice.
But if you follow her on Furry Foliage, she has like beautiful terrariums. I think she keeps frogs. So she's like all kinds of cool enclosures for them. Yeah, it's really neat. Cool. So really cool. Yeah, that's awesome that she's gonna make something for all these rare plants. I've
been wanting it for like months. And like at Christmas, I was like, I need to pay for this before the end of the year for tax write-offs, and it just didn't happen. But whatever.
So are you gonna keep that in the shop then?
Yeah.
Where in the shop are you thinking?
Between those two shelves, where like there's a fiddle leaf fig and yeah, I'm excited. Just a big tall one.
That's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. So I want to kind of shift gears a little bit. And again, it's Women's Appreciation Month.
Yes.
You're a woman. You're a badass. You run your own shop. Head bitch in charge. I think, I'm sure in the beginning, I would love to hear, maybe some struggles you went through. Because I don't think it's all sunshine and rainbows owning a plant shop, as you've mentioned before, and it's really not. It is a business at the end of the day. It is how you support yourself and support others. So what hurdles did you face in the beginning being a business owner and maybe also being a woman in this industry? What have you gone through with that? Any experiences you would like to share?
So as far as being a woman in the industry, I don't think it's as hard as other industries because it is a female-dominated industry, which is nice. And the clientele is all people between 20 and 40 generally. Everyone's very environmentally conscious. Everyone is riddled with student loans, like we all can relate to each other really well. So in that
Denver specifically too, that you described like 70% of Denver.
Yeah, exactly. So in that way, as far as being a woman, it's a lot easier. I do think that being a small business owner as a woman, only a couple times I've gotten people who come in and they don't take my business seriously. And they come in and they're like, this one guy, his total was like $55. Can I give you 50 in cash? Yeah, sure. 50 in cash, $5 on your credit card. Your total's $5. No, I meant like, can I just give you 50 in cash? Excuse me? Well, every other store lets me do it. And I'm like, I'm a fucking corporation. Your total is $55. I was pissed. And I'm like, just because, I'm not like playing, and I've had someone else do that. Someone left me a fake review on Google. All 5-star. I have one 1-star. It was a fake review because he wanted a plant for half the price and he got pissed. I want to give it to him.
That's so stupid.
Yeah. So things like that, people don't take you seriously, especially for me. I always wear really cute, colorful dresses.
Yes, you do.
And I don't look my age. So I think people think a lot like, oh, she's like wearing cute little dresses and she's a plant store owner. It's just, oh, she's having fun.
Yeah, they're not taking you seriously.
No.
Because it's a business that you put together yourself with blood, sweat, and tears.
Literally.
Yeah, you probably make a lot of those people's
literally
heads spin, like how much work you actually do.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
Shop.
And so I think as far as being a woman, it hasn't been that bad. But there is one of the things about it is a big thing with my business is education. I just want to educate people. And that's my whole plant system, to match you with plants that meet your level, asking like, what's your light? What do you want? I will flat out tell you, you're going to kill that plant. Do not buy it. Like straight up, I'm not going to try to make you feel better because you're going to go home and kill it and cry. Like, so like, don't get that plant. And so I explain and teach people. And again, like going back to reviews, I have another negative review where a girl said I was condescending and all this. And I feel like being a woman and teaching other women, if I was a man, it'd be considered mansplaining and it's kind of accepted. But being a woman, explaining something to another woman who maybe knows, but I don't know that, then it's interpreted as like me overpowering them or being condescending.
Yeah, or like bitchy.
Yeah.
Or like, here's my knowledge that I'm bestowing upon you.
Yeah.
But like
I don't know how much you know, so I have that review and I get that attitude sometimes in the store and I've learned to like read it real fast and I'm like, okay, peace out. Like, let me know if you have questions.
Yeah.
So absolutely. I think that aspect of it, of being an education-based business, like that's what I really base it around.
That is your goal. That's what you want your customers to leave educated on the plant that they're buying.
I think, and that's kind of presented this really, it's a hurdle for me. Because I don't want people to write bad reviews because I'm just trying to teach them.
Right. Yeah.
And they're not telling me like, yo, I already fucking know that. Like,
definitely.
Right. And you're a small business owner at the end of the day and every review counts. You know?
Yes.
They all count.
For real, guys.
Yeah.
Leave reviews for your small businesses.
Yeah.
Good ones.
Of course.
No one cares that Home Depot has 1 star. They still go there, but like they're going to judge a small business on having totally 1 star. It's totally different.
Totally different. Do you feel like the clientele that come in, do you feel like it varies? Like, do you feel like there's a huge ratio to people who are well educated to those who maybe are not as educated on certain plants or plants in general? Do you feel like it's 50-50?
No, I don't. I feel like it's the vast majority do not know a lot.
Okay.
And one of the reasons I believe is because people have read about my store and they come to me for that. So as far as like other stores, maybe they get more people that do know more, but I get a lot of people who specifically come to me because of my reviews or because their friend was like, you kill everything, like go see this chick. So, I mean, but that's what my brand is. Yeah. So that's kind of what I expect.
It's great. Like I've seen that online.
You
like,
know?
I think you saw it in one of the groups. A girl was like, "Yeah, I went to go see that green lady, and she helped me with my plant."
I love it when everybody calls you green lady.
The green lady, yeah, totally.
It's adorable.
I went to this 5280 event, and this woman came up to me. She's like, oh, "Are you the green lady?" And I was like, "That is adorable." And yes,
cute.
hello.
That's adorable.
It was really funny.
See, that's so interesting because I feel like, I mean, it totally makes sense though why maybe some people aren't as educated. Because like when I've been in there before, I hear it all the time. I just do my own thing. I'm like, Jessica, I love to talk to you. You got another person, go help them. They seem like
I know. I try to like come in and give her hugs when I can.
Yeah.
I sneak my customers.
yeah. And then like you're just like and there's some people who come in there and like I love it. I love hearing their questions that they're just like, I have a Dracaena and it's dying. Why do you think it is? And you're like, you need to give that bitch filtered water because they do not like fluoride.
Actually, I'd like to talk about that in a minute.
No, go for it.
You want me to talk about it now?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is my plant tip that I want to share.
Yes, share.
Okay?
Please.
So, first of all, that rumor rocks the bottom of a pot without a hole, driving me fucking crazy. Okay? Let's move on from that because I think you talked about that already.
Yeah.
So, the whole fluoride thing. Leaving your water out does not get rid of fluoride.
It
Okay?
guys, it doesn't.
Does not get rid of fluoride.
No.
Also, the amount, and I've read papers on this, the amount of fluoride that's in our water is not enough to affect your plant. It is not. So if your plant has brown tips, you don't just blame it on the water. Like perlite has fluoride in it. Peat has fluoride in it. Coffee and tea, which we use to fertilize our plants, has fluoride in it. In like vastly more parts per million than our tap water. So I always tell people like your Dracaenas and your spider plants, your peace lilies, those plants, as long as you have drainage and that it can leach out, it's going to be fine. And if you really want to, you can put it in a pot without a hole. I've had spider plants in pots without holes and they've been fine. But every now and then maybe leach the soil just to get that out. But the fluoride, it's fluoride's in our air. And that affects plants too, and you can't do shit about that. Like,
Totally.
So the fluoride thing, that's like on my care cards. I talk about that a little bit.
That's cool.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah, but leaving your water out, if anything, it's good for the plants when you leave it out because the water, it becomes room temperature, and it's cold, icy water or hot water that's too hot. That's really actually going to affect your plants. More.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen that picture going around that's like in front of a bunch of orchids. Like these are
not.
not cocktails. Do not put ice cubes in them.
Oh, no, I haven't seen that. Okay.
I haven't seen that.
A little umbrella.
I'll share it so you guys can see it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So
I know, my mom does that, the little ice cube
and some
thing.
people have been doing it for decades. They swear, but I don't know. They're tropical plants. You know, I'm just saying.
What is, so like there's been, you talked about your hurdles and like people not taking you seriously as a small business, but I really want to hear about your successes.
Yeah, let's talk about the good stuff.
I mean, it's mostly good stuff.
Yeah. So what are things like you're super proud of that you're like, this was like a milestone for me?
That I was in 5280. I was in the contents, and then I had my own page. In 5280, they approached me 3 months after I opened.
Oh my god!
And that was awesome. Yeah.
That's so exciting.
5280. Yeah. Now I get invited to all these events. I was in like 303. I've been in like 6 or 7 different articles.
That's awesome.
I was actually approached to do a TV show. Holla!
What?
Yeah. So Chip and Joanna Gaines' new television channel.
Oh my goodness! Really?
So they did a pitch with me, like they did a recording, and then nothing ever came from it. But I was like,
Did you get to meet Chip and Joanna?
No.
Oh,
and honestly, I wouldn't even really
Chip
care.
and Joanna,
Like,
what the fuck?
I just wanted a TV show. Like, be fabulous with my eyelashes.
Oh my god,
That's so cool.
So that was awesome.
That's so cool though.
That was-
they reached
yeah.
out. to
That
you.
was super
I would have
cool.
shit my pants.
It was
I'm
cool.
Obsessed with them.
Well,
I love
maybe I should
Chip
reach
and
out
Joanna.
again. Maybe you can write me.
Yeah.
Write me, like, what is
We're
it? Like a
putting it out in the
review letter.
universe right now.
Just saying HGTV.
Okay,
You know?
that's awesome.
So, and then hiring my first employee after a year and a half.
Yeah.
That's so
Like,
exciting, and she seems
yes.
so sweet. I love seeing her pop up in your Instagram every once in a
She's
while now.
so enthusiastic. She was like crying. She was so enthusiastic, like
that's
when
so
I was hiring her.
tender.
So, yeah.
Remind me of her name again.
Irie.
Irie.
Hi, Irie.
Yes, I haven't met her yet. I'm,
Yeah,
like,
she's
looking
great.
forward to like meeting her and just running into the shop one day. Do you know what days she's usually there? Have you figured that out yet?
Come in over the weekends.
Over weekends.
Yeah.
Just kind of
She's usually there Thursday through Sunday.
nice.
All the time.
That's awesome. Okay, I have to come in and meet her.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I think in just overall, the support from the community is the biggest success.
Yeah.
Just you guys having me on here, mentioning my business, like getting good reviews, like hearing people tell other people to come to my store. And I mean, that's the best.
The
Like I could have
feedback,
been in
it lets you know
5280,
you're doing the
but
right thing.
you know, people could be like, I don't want to go to that store. Like it doesn't,
Yeah.
it's the support from the community that
Yeah,
is the biggest
absolutely.
success.
And it sounds like you have a really positive outlook
Mm-hmm.
on the whole community being so supportive. And obviously,
Yeah.
we talk about it all the time. There's the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
In all aspects of like certain culture and with that community.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for the most part, like, I don't know.
Yeah,
we've
it's
met some really
good.
fucking cool people
Yeah.
through everything
I've-
that we've done.
I've made friends through it. Like I see
Yeah.
plant people more than I see my established friends.
No kidding.
Oh my god, 100%.
You're like,
100%.
hey.
Yep.
And even just like, yeah, the support from the community and then what people teach me also.
Yes.
So, that I really appreciate. So I don't know everything about plants. I know a lot. Come to me if you need help. But I had Patrick. Love Patrick. Everyone loves Patrick.
Yes.
He came in and he looked at this plant and he's like, oh, so you're still calling it like a kumquat muff, whatever some weird ass name I can't pronounce. And he's like, you're still calling it that? And I go, what? And he's like, instead of a da-da-da-da-da, whatever, some weird ass name. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, oh, they changed the name of it. I'm like, I don't know this shit. Like, like, thank you for teaching me.
That's awesome. I love that.
You know?
He's
It's like-
awesome. Has he started an Instagram yet?
He has an Instagram.
I thought you said he didn't like post pictures of his plants though.
The Hibotanist.
I think you're think
Patrick.
it's something
Oh!
different, dude. Patrick that went on the
Oh,
plant tour
Patrick!
with us.
Oh my gosh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
Okay, sorry.
Patrick the Hibotanist.
I thought, okay, who is the
he
one?
knows his shit.
Patrick does know his shit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I got mixed up. So who worked at your shop? Greg.
Greg.
I'm thinking of Greg. I'm sorry. Patrick, I love you. Okay, sorry. I don't know why I thought his name was also Patrick. Greg. Okay, has Greg started his own Instagram yet?
No.
Damn it.
I know.
He needs to.
Greg, do it. I'll let him know.
Yeah, because he has like a beautiful collection. You were telling me, like,
Hundreds.
yeah, and he helped you over like
Last
the
summer. Yeah, he helped me on Thursdays.
And he's a teacher, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's a Spanish teacher.
Oh, how fun!
Yeah, so he would come in and like play all his favorite Latin music.
Oh, that's cute.
It's perfect.
Yeah, it was
That's pretty
perfect.
awesome.
It was perfect. So
That's awesome. What is, you have so many, I feel like, really great successes. Like, I look at you and I see somebody who is very successful. And
Thank
success
you.
is defined in so many different ways, but I see you and I'm like, you know what? Yes, you're busy and, maybe relationships have kind of been put to the side, but I still think that success for you is that people are there to support you, and there are people who you don't expect to support you, and I think that's success.
Yeah.
And I think that's really hard in this day and age,
Yeah.
especially for small business to have such great support. So I see that as success, and I see, so many milestones for you. I feel like your exotic plant sale was a huge milestone and a huge...
God, that like destroyed
I
me.
know, you poor thing. But that was such an amazing event, and I've
Yeah.
never seen anything like that. I would love to hear what that was like.
That's
and
like a whole nother podcast. Oh my God. It was, I went too big. I don't know what I'm doing. I always am like, oh, I want to do this. And I'm like, but what if there's not enough?
I mean, some of this is trial and error. Nobody else in Denver had ever done an exotic, still hasn't done an exotic sale like that.
Yeah.
So
I do want to do one again, but I definitely...
smaller scale.
Smaller scale. Well, that's kind of why I did the weeklies. Yeah. I did the weeklies because I wanted to still keep bringing stuff in. Totally. And also that lets me enjoy cool shit.
Yeah.
Like temporarily, because again, I know I'm not going to be able to take care of it all long term.
Right.
And I'm not a plant collector, and I've never been like a rare plant collector, but I enjoy them. Mm-hmm. So they kind of pass through my hands. I take care of them for a few weeks, a few months, and then I'm like, out to the universe for all you lovely plant hoarders to enjoy.
Yeah, totally.
Rare plant halfway house.
I love that. That's so true. Oh my gosh. I like that. Okay.
I love it.
I thought that was more funny than it was, but it is funny. I've never heard that before. Okay. Anyway, moving on. No, but that event though, she's being really modest about it. She had such cool shit. You had a whole table where I love the system. So you had a bag with a number, mm-hmm. and then you went up to all the plants, and once you put that plant in the bag, mm-hmm. It was like yours. Like you were committed to buying it at the end of the night. So you just went through and you told the people, and they wrote down your number.
Got a little card.
And then when you were done shopping, you gave them the bag, and they just held it for you. Yep. Which was awesome, because then you could enjoy the rest of the event.
You could enjoy it, and mostly it was more about people not stealing shit. Even though somebody did steal a Monstera constellation. Totally. If you're listening, fuck you.
We will find you, and we will Liam Neeson your ass.
It pissed me off.
That is so crazy. But you had the raffle, or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a pink princess, and there was like a wine tasting. There was like a few things.
What else was there? On a silent auction, you had the silent auction plan.
Yes.
Which you had really cool shit. Mm-hmm. Stuff that I still don't see very often. And you had local artists come in.
Yep.
Ceramicists, jewelry people, mm-hmm. Such cool stuff. And you had food trucks.
Forgot about all of that. I think I've blanked it out of my memory.
You were running around like a chicken with its head cut off. I said hi to you, and you were like, squirrel? Okay, bye. Like,
oh my God, it was insane.
Yeah, but it was such a fun event and such a cool idea. And I'm putting this out into the universe for me because I'm selfish. But I would really want you to do something like that again.
Okay.
But smaller scale, charge, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm willing to pay for it if it's something similar to what it was. As long as there's food, drinks, and plants.
And there was a food truck out back, and there was a bar.
Hell yes. It was so much fun. Yeah. And it was on First Friday in May.
Yeah.
Which was super cool. So you had a lot of foot traffic that night just for people participating in First Friday.
Yeah. It was good.
And you participate in First Friday First Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Which is so cool.
So if you come down for First Friday, I might close at 9, but I might close at 10. So if I close the door on your face, I need to go to bed. Please come back the next day. Yeah, totally. Sometimes it's like zombies at the door. They're like trying to get in. I'm like, no, should have been here earlier. Go to bed.
Totally. I don't blame you though.
No.
That's like a lot of like energy to put out.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding? I'm sure.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
I love it. It's a love-hate relationship actually, but whatever.
I kind of want to share what we've like bought from you.
Okay.
And like my favorite things I own from you, from your shop. I counted before I came over to record. I have 20 plants that I bought from you.
Get the fuck out.
That's
Really?
a fifth of my collection.
Get out.
Uh-huh.
Seriously?
Amazing, Madison.
Damn.
I was like really shocked. I was like, oh wow, she makes up a lot of my collection.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
But I was like surprised I like remembered. I mean, I think I remember most of them where I got them from, but
well, I mean, it's like you fall in love each time. Like, of course you remember where you were.
Totally. So I kind of went through everything, and I think my favorite is definitely. Well, hold on. Do you know? I don't wait. I had it, but maybe I changed my mind now. Yeah, okay, my Ring of Fire.
They're so cool.
They're so neat.
Yeah.
And you have a Ring of Fire, you said.
I do. I have a Ring of Fire. It kind of came to me in a roundabout way. I had a friend who was into plants, was into, like, exotic tropical plants before me, and went to your exotic plant sale with his boyfriend, picked out a bunch of super expensive plants, and brought home these, like, 3 gorgeous plants. I think they had a variegated whale fin, a white knight, the Ring of Fire, and basically started killing everything promptly. So after a while, he realized I was into plants and told me about this sad Ring of Fire he had and brought it to me.
You don't do anything to him.
And we traded. No, he had it in, like, packed houseplant soil and, like, no humidity. I mean, it was just not, it was not happy. So we changed out the soil. We tented it in a Ziploc bag for a little bit. We got its nub growing again. It's doing great now, actually. So yeah, I got it in kind of a roundabout way. Yeah. I definitely absolutely love it, but I didn't get to, like, go into the shop and pick it out.
So what's your favorite one that maybe you've gotten from the shop?
I think my favorite is probably the whale fin, just because I think it's super cool. But I think the one with the best story,
in the whale pod.
I think the one with the best story is, you know, after we bought the house, I got a lot of succulents from, like, Lowe's and Home Depot and stuff like that. And I started getting really into houseplants and joining a bunch of Facebook groups, which is how I ended up starting Colorado Plant Pals. And I was like, man, I want to get, like, my first, like, real houseplant, you know? And Eric, the guy who went to the exotic plant sale, told me about your shop and told me to go see the green lady and, like, she'll hook you up with the right plant for you. And I was like, okay, cool. And I walked in, and the shop was gorgeous, obviously, but I walked in and I picked out a plant, and this is, like, so embarrassing. I don't even know if you remember this experience. You probably didn't recognize me, but because I had long hair and you would have known who I was. But I picked out a plant and I was like, oh, this will be perfect for my first plant, blah, blah, blah. And I went to go pay for it with you, and you were like, oh, this is so exciting because it's your first plant. And I was like, yeah, it's my first. I thought a pothos would be great to start with. I heard they're really easy. And you were like, that's a philodendron. And I was like, oh. So I bought this philodendron.
Girl, you are not alone.
And I bought this, like, gorgeous hanging pot, which is actually right there.
I recognized it.
It didn't have drainage holes, and you were like, you know, it doesn't have drainage holes, and that's too big for that plant. But it's a beautiful pot, so, like, buy it, but don't repot that philodendron when you get home. And I was like, yeah, okay, sure. And then I went home, and I was like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. I love this planter. And I immediately put the philodendron in there. Promptly killed it. And I had taken a cutting because I just learned about propagations, and so I have one strand of that original philodendron cordatum alive in my kitchen right now, living in a rum bottle.
Hey, that is fucking funny. I love it.
Oh, I love this.
You were supposed to live with it in the plastic pot until you learned how to water it.
You know what's
funny?
And
then you could pot it directly.
If you did the competition, too, where you like, I want to see the first plant you bought from me and, like, how it's doing today. And I was like, I can't enter this competition because I can't post a picture of this philodendron.
You should have. Oh, my God. That would have been hysterical.
That is so funny.
So that's probably my favorite plant, just because it has the best story and it was the best experience and learning experience.
Yes,
to say the least.
Plants are science. They're science.
Yeah,
it's not just like I tell people all the time. They're not just like dainty decor items.
Nope,
they are out in nature, and that shit is rough out there. And there's things they need. They're not just. Yeah, they're not just decor.
Totally.
Nope.
Well, and so I have a funny, well, it's not really a funny story, but I have a story in relation to
something too.
That's just funny, and then you're going to feel so bad.
Juliet's crying.
So I went and my most meaningful thing I owned that I bought in your shop was actually a pot.
Okay.
And it's one of the Mexican potteries that you sell, and it's one of the big fat ones, and I actually have my hedgehog's remains in it, and it's a hedgehog cactus garden.
That was the first time you came in, wasn't it?
It was like, no, it was It was like right
It was
after
at
the
the
exotic plant sale.
Okay.
Like I had like just started coming in.
Oh,
Okay.
right now I do feel like a bitch.
I
That's so sweet.
Yeah, she
No,
bought.
but like that story, and I always like whenever I look at it, like I think about your shop and when I bought it and how I was
Right.
feeling. Like,
Yeah.
and it's so funny. Like we with like memories, you know. I think that's probably like such a fun thing to hear as like a business owner. Is like people have like such memories attached. Like Jillian has her fuck up story. And how she felt like I don't need to listen to her, like, but that's like so funny to like tell and like
stubborn.
share. And then like I, you know, and I have my stories too with certain things, and like that's something that like,
your
I
hedgehog.
I know. So like
That was
there's,
so
like, things
sweet.
that
I
you,
remember.
like,
I remember that
I know.
very
I like
clearly.
came in crying. I was like a hot mess that day. Like oh my god.
No, but it was so sweet.
It's
and then
incredible.
you planted it up, and
Yeah, I was like, I need to buy a really nice, cute pot, and this is really important. It's a big, important purchase. Please help me.
Yeah.
And you have like little hedgehog figurines too,
Yes.
like little tiny
Little hedgehog pots.
Yes! Oh my gosh! And I have those in her garden too. And then her little ashes are in her little
Oh my god.
urn. What are they called? Yeah, a little urn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
That's so sweet. It's beautiful. It's like, this is going to be really cheesy, but it's like art, you know, where the artist creates it and then puts
Yeah.
it out into the world, but everybody experiences it differently, you know? Like, you talked about how you take care of these plants for a little while and then you just kind of put them back out into the universe. It's got to be cool to see that take on a life of its own.
It is, and I love it. And well, that's why I started doing the rare, not why I started doing it, but one of the reasons I kept doing the rare plant thing.
Yeah.
Is I like seeing where people are like, like, my tie has a new leaf. And I'm like, yes, mine doesn't. Good for you.
Got what are you doing? Litter. Appreciate it.
Keep going. Like,
Is that like something like, do you feel like when like, especially on Instagram, like I share a lot on Instagram. Do you feel like, you know, you get excited when people like tag you, like, look at what I got today from Green
hell
Green
yeah.
Gardens,"
I totally
and, like,
get
"Here's my
excited.
update on my plant.
I
like,
totally
my
get
plant
excited
journey."
because it's, I mean, I see a lot of people and people come in and I'm like, have you been here before? And there's people who are like, yeah, I've been here a lot of times. And I'm like, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard. I can't remember. I wish I could remember everyone, but I can't anymore. Like, I just can't.
Yeah,
But
it's so big now.
when people post photos with their plant, especially if they get a pot, I see that, I'm like, I know that. You know, and they'll post like, I bought this 6 months ago and now look at it. And I'm like, I remember that stuff.
Totally.
And I love it, especially because I want people to learn. I want all the beginners to come to me. Like that's what I want.
Totally.
So that I can tell them like, no, you're not a plant killer.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I was in King Soopers. Someone picked up a plant and walked over to the Starbucks barista. This is my favorite story. And goes, how do I take care of it? And I'm standing there. I'm like, the barista doesn't fucking know. Why are you asking the barista at King Soopers?
Oh, good lord.
You know? And I'm just like,
Google's a real thing, y'all. It's okay to go to Google in the beginning.
it is.
And always.
But it's also got a lot of contradictory information.
It does. It does.
You know?
Absolutely.
It is a good place. But my store's better.
You're never going to beat the personal experience of talking to somebody and
Well,
getting their
especially
experience
Jessica.
and knowledge.
Having Jessica
Right?
be like, nope, here you go. Let me help you. I got you right now, girl.
Well,
Let's
and you know
do
why?
this."
I've killed a lot of plants.
Totally.
I've had plants for decades. Most people haven't.
Yeah.
Like, I've had them for decades. I've probably killed 12 string of pearls. Well, now I know how to keep them alive, guys.
Yeah.
Like, so when I tell you, you're going to kill it,
Yeah.
you're going to kill it. Like,
It's a learning curve.
It
start
absolutely
here,
is.
work your way up, you know?
Totally. And I think, like, you know, coming to Jillian's house, too, like, I'm sure you kind of, like, recognize some things. You're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
there's that, and, oh, yeah. Like,
I do.
I don't know. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's nice.
Have you, like, been to, like, other people's homes, like, and been, like, and they get excited, like, oh, look, this is what I got from your
No,
shop?
because I don't go do shit. Like,
Oh, yeah, I forgot you're, like, a hermit
I was
outside of
like,
work.
Well, she has like
Oh my
newfound
God.
freedom with Irene now, so it's like
Yes.
she's taking on new life. We're gonna see
Yeah.
Jessica
No.
out and about this summer, maybe.
it's like, maybe. Yeah, I'd like to go do things. No, I will. I need more balance. The time has come.
Yes,
You know?
I think you should. I think that's important, work-life balance.
It is. It's hard though. You know, like, and you know, I said my ex-husband, like, I just got a divorce. it's still kind of like we're married. It's kind of weird, but my business had a toll on that.
Yeah.
And it was just the stress of it. And so after that, I'm like, you know what? Like, all right, like it's not worth it to that extent anymore.
Right.
So
it's weird, but you're juggling a lot of relationships. You have the relationship with your husband, with your friends, but also with the store, with the plants.
oh my God, yeah.
You know, with the community. So you're juggling so many different relationships that all require so much of your time and energy.
So much.
It's draining, you know.
Yeah.
There's only so much Jessica to go around.
There is only so much.
I'd love to talk about, you know, people that you feature in your shop. So you have I think you have the best selection of pottery.
Thank
you.
you.
Anybody. I love your choice in pottery, and you really promote local artists and ceramicists. So I'd love for you to talk about that, and also the other little items that you sell in the shop too.
Yeah. So I have just like the pottery. So I have the hand painted Mexican, the Talavera, which is my absolute favorite.
So cute.
And then I have commercial pottery, which is I try to make like pretty affordable. And then I have local pottery from local ceramicists. I think I have 7, maybe 8 people right now.
Nice.
I don't really remember. I have to go back and count. But local artists, and when I have people approach me like, oh, can I be in your shop? I always make sure that it does not look the same as anyone else's. It has got to be unique. Totally. So all of those artists, very unique. I love all of them. Having been in the art market circuit, I knew a bunch of them before.
Cool.
And so when I was opening, I was like, no, I want this because I know how hard. God damn, setting up for art markets, thank God I don't have to do that anymore. Like, talk about the work that goes into it. And then I had a bunch of other artists in there at the beginning who did plant-related things. Yeah. And that kind of got phased out over time just as the plant selection started to increase. And, you know, you as a business owner, you have to be like, this is working and this isn't working. Right. And I'm sorry, like, I love having your stuff in here, but it's just not, I don't have a lot of space. Right. You know? So... so really now it's kind of narrowed down to the ceramicists, although I do have a couple other things in there, like Cultura Chocolate. Yeah. You had that?
Yummy.
Yeah. So Andrea, she just opened a store also.
Oh, cool.
So that's I need to go check her store out when I have my life back. But yeah, so I have a bunch of female artists in there that I really like. I mean, I have male too, but yeah, I really like having the female artists in there.
Do you still have those little pins too? That's from an artist.
Yes, Avery.
Avery.
Yeah. So she's got the pins and the patches.
Yeah.
Those are cute.
I love those.
What else is in there? Yeah, I don't know. That's what I can think of for now.
Yeah, and your hanging pottery too, I think is the best. Because like some
holy shit,
pottery,
you have not been by this week. There's so much. It's insane.
There?
It's hard to find hanging pottery, and I found some, and I found a lot. And
nice.
I'm excited.
There's a ton of hanging pottery right now.
Yeah, they're lovely because it's not just, you do have some macrame, but it's not like just macrame hangers. Like they're all so unique and beautiful.
There's a lot right now. So if you want hanging pots, like I have them. I have too many of them.
Good to know.
I'm like, the more shit I hang from the ceiling, the darker my store gets because it's covering all the lights.
All right, y'all heard it here. We need to go out to Green Lady Gardens over in Santa Fe. And actually, on that note, where can everybody find you? I know you have the website, Instagram.
Yeah. So website is greenladygardens.com. Instagram is green_lady_gardens with an S on the end. If you can't hear that. Gardens. And I am in the art district at 733 Santa Fe. I'm across the street from El Noa Noa, and I have 30-minute parking. So come visit me.
You know how hard it is to find parking in that area?
So hard.
That's a big bonus, cool. You guys.
Yeah. So really cool. And I'm open Wednesday through Sunday.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Thank you so much for doing this podcast with us. This has been so much fun.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime. We've both been avid shoppers since you've opened. So we're
Can I give you my present before we go?
Yeah, sure.
I have presents for both of you.
Ooh.
Because you're badasses.
Oh,
okay. So you're doing so well with the podcast and your Facebook, which I don't even go on. I think I go on like twice a year, but I do know you're killing it because I hear about it all the time. Yeah, and for having me on and for supporting me and also repaying you for 1/5 of your collection being my plants.
I guess.
Okay.
So she has a bag. Okay. She brought something. Okay.
I heard you talking about this.
Okay.
Ooh, what is this?
Oh, you stop it. Get the fuck. Hold on. I'm gonna shit
That's
my
not
pants.
what the gift is.
Yeah.
For both of us? Wait,
Each
what?
one.
No
Shut
way.
the fuck up.
Yeah.
Oh!
It broke. It's okay.
That's okay. I'm not picky. Oh, shut your fucking mouth.
Oh my gosh, she does have two of them.
Tell everyone what you got.
This is the ghost or beauty? Beauty.
They got Florida Beauty,
Philodendrons,
philodendrons.
Florida Beauty.
Didn't you say that was on your wish list? Did you say ghost or beauty?
Okay, so
One of you said beauty, and I was like, I got that shit.
Okay, for everybody who listens, that whole fuckery with green spaces, I lost my Florida Beauty. I paid and everything, and it got lost in transit. And I've been so upset because it was my wish list, and it died, and I can't believe you're so fucking kind. Oh my god, you did not have to do that.
I wanted to.
so
I mean, I don't
much.
have to do anything, but I want to.
Oh my god, they're so beautiful.
I'm like so speechless.
Oh my god.
Sorry, Jillian's. Yours has a broken leaf.
What? I can't even. I need to compose myself for a second because I have words.
Oh my god, I love how excited you are. See, this is what. Okay, so I am not a plant collector. It's not even really a hobby of mine anymore.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with running my business, and I love my customers. And this is like what's happening with you right now. That's like what I live for with my business. It like brings me so much joy, so much joy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't really know what to say. I'm like
My fingers like
speechless.
shaking. I'm like,
I know.
petting the
Jillian's
pillow.
like stroking the little
like-
furs.
Wow.
Oh, are you
about
gonna
to
cry?
start crying. I might cry a little bit. This has been on my wish list for a long. This is one of the only plants too that even Alex thinks is cool. Like it's just such a cool plant. Like it's
Oh,
just
she has
like
tears in her eyes. Oh my gosh.
so sweet.
I'm like kind of like I'm like in like shock right now because like it's like because I was on that emotional roller coaster with green spaces, honestly, and I was so disappointed. I was like, because I've been waiting for like a year, and the right time to buy it, and for you to bring it is so thoughtful and kind and endearing and tenderhearted, and thank you so much. Thank you for bringing those and your time and everything that you do with the shop. I really hope you continue to do more and just keep killing it and being like somebody that we all look to and support and
admire in the plant community.
Yes, absolutely.
I knew you'd be excited. I didn't know you'd be this excited. I'm so happy.
I kind of shit my pants a little. So, oh my God.
All right, thank you all for listening. I'm gonna turn this off so I can go give Jessica a hug. Go follow us on Instagram. Everything will be linked below. Bye.